Wake up, everyone. We have some terrible news. Climate change has struck again. So, from the AP here, the US is freezing and La Nina usually eases warming. Earth just set another heat record, anyways. So, let's watch this video and then we'll get into the article.
January 2025 was the warmest January globally, with a temperature that was 1.75 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial level, so above the temperature from 1850 to 1900. Towards the middle of 2024 onwards, we entered a neutral to developing La Nina phase, so a cooler phase. So even though the equatorial Pacific isn't creating conditions that are warming our global climate, we're still seeing record temperatures. When you look at the global map, you see very bright red, so dark red anomalies, which are showing much warmer than average over the Arctic. So we know that the anomalies that we saw in January in the Arctic were extreme. They're on the order of 20 degrees above the climatological average. By far and away, the largest contributing factor of climate change is the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And this is primarily due to burning of fossil fuels. We know that the extreme events, they happen more frequently and with more intensity, the warmer our climate is. And in 2024, we've seen record losses from extreme events, from hurricanes, from wildfires, from storms. These are projected to become more frequent and more intense with a warmer world.
All right. So, yeah, that's fun. So, um, it's not like this is a new thing. We're breaking heat records. Like the past few years, it's been like every month or every other month, we are just fucking destroying previous records. And it's scary. It's crazy. Like the reason why Greenland is like such a hot topic now and we want to buy Greenland or annex Greenland, whatever the fuck, is because shipping lanes are opening up around the Arctics and places that were previously, like fucking icebergs and glaciers and frozen over because of the warming, global warming, climate change. Those glaciers and all that are starting to melt. And now instead of being like, hey, they're melting, that's a problem, we're like, we need to buy Greenland. Oh, Jesus. And also, I believe there's like a lot of rare earth minerals and just natural resources in Greenland that are kind of opening up now too because of ice and ice caps melting. So it's scary, man. And our takeaway is let's buy Greenland. Oh, we're so cooked. So the world warmed to yet another monthly heat record in January despite an abnormally chilly United States, a cooling La Nina, and predictions of a slightly less hot 2025 according to the European Climate Service. What's that word? I don't know that word. I don't know it. I'm not going to try. The surprising January heat record coincides with a new study by a climate science heavyweight, former top NASA scientist James Hansen, and others arguing that global warming is accelerating. No shit. It's a claim that's dividing the research community. January 2025 globally was 0.09 degrees Celsius, 0.16 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than January 2024, the previous hottest January, and was 1.75 Celsius, 3.15 degrees warmer, Fahrenheit warmer than it was before industrial times. What the fuck is that word? Help me, help me, help me.
Copernicus.
What is that?
Copernicus.
Copernicus? What is this, some fucking European shit? What is this? Okay, it's just their fucking global monitoring. Am I retarded? It was the 18th month of the last 19 that the world hit or passed the internationally agreed upon warming limit of 1.5, 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit above pre-industrial times. Scientists won't regard the limit as breached unless and until global temperatures stay above it for 20 years. And then a picture here. A vendor sleeps in a hot afternoon at her shop at Market 4 in Paraguay. That's great. Records date to 1940, but other US and British records go back to 1850, and scientists using proxies such as tree rings say this era is the warmest in about 120,000 years. By far the biggest driver of record heat is greenhouse gas buildup from the burning of coal, oil, and natural gas, but the natural contributions to temperature change have not been acting quite as expected, said Samantha Burgess, strategic lead for climate for the European Weather Agency. The big natural factor in global temperatures is usually the natural cycle of changes in the equatorial Pacific Ocean waters. When the central Pacific is especially warm, it's an El Nino and global temperatures tend to spike. Last year was a substantial El Nino, though it ended last June, and the year was even warmer than initially expected, the hottest on record. El Nino's cooler flip side, La Nina, tends to dampen the effects of global warming, making record temperatures far less likely. A La Nina started in January after brewing for months. Just last month, climate scientists were predicting that 2025 wouldn't be as hot as 2024 or 2023, with the La Nina a major reason. Even though the equatorial Pacific isn't creating conditions that are warming for our global climate, we're still seeing record temperatures. Like I said, adding much of that is because of record warmth in the rest of the world's oceans. Usually after an El Nino like last year, temperatures fall rapidly, but we've not seen that, Burgess told the Associated Press. For American news of a record warm January might seem odd given how cold it was, but the U.S. is just a tiny fraction of the planet's surface, and a much larger area of the planet's surface was much, much warmer than average, Burgess said. January was unseasonably mild in the Arctic. Parts of the Canadian Arctic had temperatures 30 degrees Celsius, 54 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than average, and temperatures got so warm, sea ice started melting in places, Burgess said. The Arctic this month tied the January record for lowest sea ice. The U.S.-based National Snow and Ice Data Center had its second lowest behind 2018. Person sits out on the pier as ice floats on the Hudson River, January 23rd, 2025. February has already started cooler than last year, Burgess said. Don't count 2025 out in the race for the hottest year, said Hansen, the former NASA scientist who has been called the godfather of climate science. He's now at Columbia University in a study in the Journal of Environmental Science. Sorry, I read that completely wrong. Environment, Science and Policy for Sustainable Development. Hansen and colleagues said the last 15 years have warmed at about twice the rate of the previous 40 years. I'm confident that this higher rate will continue for at least several years, Hansen told the Associated Press in an interview. Over the full year, it's going to be nip and tuck between 2025 and 2024 and 2025. There's been a noticeable temperature rise even when taking out El Nino variations and expected climate change since 2020, Hansen said. He noted recent shipping regulations have been resulted in reduced sulfur pollution, which reflects some sunlight away from Earth, effectively reduces warming, and that will continue, he said. And then we have a woman reads a book while sunbathing during a summer day, and whatever. The persistence of record warmth through 2023, 2024, and now into the first month of 2025 is jarring to say the least, said University of Michigan Environment Dean Jonathan Overpeck, who wasn't a part of the Hansen study. There seems to be little doubt that global warming and the impacts of climate change are accelerating. Yeah, I mean, look at the hurricanes we had last year. Look at the fucking wildfires going on in LA. This shit's like unprecedented. It's crazy. But Princeton's Gabe Vecchi and University of Pennsylvania's Michael Mann said that they don't agree with Hansen on acceleration. Vecchi said there's not enough data to show that this isn't some random chance. Mann said that temperature increases are still within what climate models forecast. So a little back and forth here. But I want to show you another chart. I feel like this other guy's kind of downplaying it a little bit. But I'm just a normie. But what do I know? Line go up. I think that's bad, isn't it? This is from NASA, by the way. So from the 1880s, had a spike in 1940, went down a little, and then since the 80s, it has just been climbing and climbing and climbing. Is it going to crash? Are we going to see a level out? I doubt it. Like, climate change is real, folks. Oh, this is from, so this is a time lapse of kind of the temperature difference around the globe from, it starts at 1884 and goes to 2022. Take a look at this and tell me you don't think fucking something is wrong here. You know, not too bad right now. Pretty standard. You know, we have warm areas coming and going. It's not a big deal. It's a slow burn, but it pays off, I promise, in the worst way possible. See, it's getting a little bit hot up there in the north, and it's kind of staying there, and you see it's kind of spreading out a bit. But you're probably like, Baker, this doesn't look too bad. This looks kind of normal. Like, it's just shifting around. It's not too bad. There's nothing to be concerned about here. There, there it starts. Notice how towards recent years, it's no longer shifting around. You notice how the red that kind of appeared there towards like 3/4 of the way. You notice how that's kind of just staying there and growing now. But people say, oh, it's just the natural cycles and blah blah blah. But man, we are having the craziest weather events like we've never seen before. You don't think something's up? You don't think something's going on here? Like we talked about Greenland and its sudden importance. And so let's talk about what President Trump and the Republicans are doing about this. So he ended a Biden order that was to prevent the expansion of further drilling in certain areas, revoked future leases for windmill farms, took away EV credits, pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord, and declared an energy emergency, which is basically cover for further undermining any cleaner renewable energy source and just going with drill, baby, drill. It's basically just opening it up so we can just unleash our oil production capabilities because he thinks, as by what he declared a energy emergency, this is going to blow your mind. So in 2023, the United States produced 102.83 quadrillion British thermal units, otherwise known as BTUs, of energy, making it the world's second largest producer. This was more energy than the country consumed, which was about 93.59 quadrillion BTU. And since 2019, we have been way overproducing what we consume in terms of energy. And this motherfucker declares an energy emergency to open up even more drilling. We've already seen how bad climate change got under Biden and the Democrats, and they at least pretended to care. They didn't do nearly enough because, the Democratic Party obsession with incrementalism and baby steps, we were still hitting records over and over and over and over. I know the article we just read had kind of a back and forth, but I encourage you to do the research and realize that it's not so back and forth as that article kind of made it out to be. We're still fucking cooked, all right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And if we're going to address this, we need radical change, real radical, not fake fucking right wing radical, like actual radical change. We should not be opening up new leases for fucking drilling. We're in a position where we are grossly overproducing what we consume. So Trump's logical conclusion is to declare an energy emergency and produce more and drill more while revoking permits for wind farms and the like. Are we fucking stupid? Like, what are we doing? We need radical change. We should not be opening up new drilling sites. We should be 100% all in on renewable energy. Like wind, solar, hydroelectric, you throw in nuclear, like, or is it nuclear? I think there's a difference there. Nuclear. Sorry. But we should be leading the world in this regard. When we are overproducing in energy, that gives us a little bit of leeway, no? Like we can start cutting down some of the drilling and transition that to wind, solar, hydroelectric, nuclear. Like, why aren't we doing that? And as I would do if I was ruler, president, God King of the United States, I would immediately start that transition full force. And I wouldn't leave anyone behind. If I shut down some oil refinery or oil drilling, coal mining place, I would instantly provide some sort of transition for that workforce to work on a renewable energy source, whether that be a wind farm, solar panels, whatever. Provide government training, government funded. Oh, that's scary, I know. But you know what's even more scarier? Sticking your head in the fucking sand and pretending that the world isn't burning around us. Like, we are not doing enough. And there's scientists out there, climate scientists out there that would argue it's too late. Like, we're already cooked no matter what we do. Like, we're already past the point of no return, a lot would argue. And we're doing nothing. Like I said, this shit went up under Biden and the Democrats. Didn't get much better. Imagine what the next 4 years for our climate are going to be like. If we think we're in an irreversible position now, wait till fucking 4 years passes. It's going to be terrible. Like, I just don't know why we don't want to be a world leader, an innovator of clean and renewable energy. Like, we should be coming up with all the patents. We should be leading the way, but we're not, and we're not going to. We refuse to. I feel like I'm not doing enough about it, but and that I'm kind of ignoring it and kind of numb to it because I don't know what to fucking do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. It's up to powers way above me to act. All right? Me buying paper straws and fucking cutting down on my plastic use and shit isn't going to do anything. 70% of greenhouse gases is linked to just 100 companies. That means like less than 30% of greenhouse gas emissions and shit is from like people like you and me. Probably much less than 30%. I'm sure there's some other fucking percentage chunk in there. It's taken up by something I can't even think of. But this is scary. Like, I don't know what to do, man. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.